Hi, I'm Sean, a finance nerd, and today you're going to learn about how to navigate your career through ups and downs and unexpected opportunities. And I'm joined in this conversation by Felicia Day, an actress and producer known for her roles on shows like Supernatural, as well as her work on the web series The Guild and the YouTube channel she founded called Geek and Sundry. I want to go back to the very beginning when you were just finding your way in your career. Can you describe what it was like to try and get those early acting jobs?
I made no money in acting for many years. I had been able to save a lot of money in college because I got a full scholarship and I lived at home the whole time, which wasn't great. But at the end of the day, all the money that I made in the symphony in Austin, Texas, and playing weddings and things like that, I just saved up.
Because you're a musician, you play violin, correct?
I played violin, yeah. And I come from a very poor family. We never had money, and it was always a constant stressor in my house. So like my tendency to sort of like never be in debt and not spend a lot of money frivolously up until the last couple of years, which I'm gone crazy on DoorDash. But other than that, yes, I'm pretty frugal when it comes to money because I come from nothing.
So in a way that prepared you for these lean years early on in your career.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're a freelance worker of any level, but especially starting out, you have to have a backup job. And I'm the queen of all backup jobs. I think that COVID and strikes have taught me that my diversification, albeit probably from a paranoid and desperate place, has seen me well through the years of lean acting and other kinds of jobs because a lot of my friends have had to sell their houses. They're moving away. They're just, always strapped. And that's because they kind of single tasked, which is probably usually a better thing to do in advancing in your career. But I don't know, maybe my grab anything I can attitude has at least got me through.
And I can see that being a result of growing up without a lot of money as well. Are there any other ways that you see this sort of tight, not super wealthy upbringing playing out in your career in those early days where you were trying to find work, weren't really getting a lot?
I think that, my mother was not as strict with her spending, and it was always just constant tension between her and my father, and just kind of like running up credit cards and then having to figure out how to pay them off was always very stressful. So while I wasn't taught anything about money at all, or interest or anything, investing, saving anyway, I did learn that no matter what, I never want to carry money on my credit card. No, I mean, literally, I just won't spend it if I don't have it to pay off at the end of the month. And I think that's probably just the number one thing.
Yeah. Well, you raise an interesting point. Like a lot of people, when I talk with them about money, they say, hey, I didn't have a money education at all. But to your point, people do have money education through what they observe from their parents doing. So you saw debt as a source of tension between your parents. You said, hey, this is a lesson that I'm learning. I don't want to go through that on my end, so I'm going to avoid debt as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, I'm definitely a risk averse person with my money. Like I never was super aggressive. And again, no one even taught me about compound interest. I had just had money sitting in my checking account when I finally got money. And I was like, look at me, I got money on my checking account. It never occurred to me that I should do something with that or try to leverage my money to do something else with it because I'm so risk averse. So I'm never going to be like super rich because I'm not willing to gamble with the money I have, but at least I'll have stability. And I'd rather have that than any kind of anxiety because I'm already an anxious person. So any anxiety I could take out of my life is wonderful.
Yeah, sometimes it's about making the right financial decision that just gets you through the day and helps you sleep at night. And if that means not investing as much, keeping more in your savings account, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear how you actually got through those times where you weren't working. Did you have side jobs? I know that you have a degree from your college education. Were you able to lean on that at all? Or how did you actually make it through on a day-by-day, month-by-month basis?
Yeah, I mean, I did save up quite a lot of money, and I was able to have somebody I lived with who helped with living expenses. So that was like probably baseline, the best thing in the world. I wouldn't recommend it, just jumping in a relationship to have some housing support, but it definitely served me well. And I literally just didn't spend money, I was so frugal. And I quickly just decided to try everything I could. I did do a little bit of violin work, but it was really hard because I'm moving to a big city. All those jobs are already taken. Any career is a network of people who think of you to call you to get a job. And I knew everybody in Austin, Texas, but I did not know anyone in Los Angeles. And the idea of trying to start another career in violin that was so different from acting was not awesome. So I was really fortunate to just try every kind of acting, and I stumbled into commercial acting. And I just found out that I was really good at it. And so the wonderful thing was within like a year or two of my starting my acting career, I didn't book any theatrical jobs, but I booked one commercial, and that one commercial paid me like $30,000. So this doesn't happen nowadays, but back in the day, people, all these older actors like me or way older than me are like, back in the day, one commercial would pay my bills for 2 years. Like it genuinely happened. It was like reading the lottery, but it is a certain skill set and it requires auditioning. Like literally I would audition 3 times a day. And like once every other month, I would book one job. So it's not like a volume business of working. It's a volume business of knocking on doors and getting rejected. But then if you hit the jackpot once or twice a year, you're pretty good. And since I was working so frugally, that really served me well. So, definitely an outlying situation, but it was a situation where I'm freelance. I'm just scrambling for anything in the area I want to work on. I worked for free on so many projects. But that working for free led me to have relationship with people that later knew about me, remembered me, and brought me in. So classic self-employed shuffle that within the time that my violin savings ran out, I was able to transfer more to commercial acting, which was not what I wanted to do.
But you were able, just through your mindset, you kept yourself open to anything that would come your way, whether it would pay off and end up being a commercial that you were acting in or be yet another audition that you didn't quite get, or you would go to other jobs where you were just basically in it because you cared about the project, you were networking with the people, hoping it would come to something else later on down the road. Sometimes that happened, sometimes that didn't. But your story really does speak to the boom and bust nature of acting. And so many creative jobs are like this. So many gig jobs are like this nowadays. Thanks for watching. I'm Sean Pyles, host of NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast. If you learned something new today, hit like and subscribe and share with your friends. Also, listen to NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.